Okay.
Okay, so we're live.
Okay.
So we're at one, but
Okay.
people are in now.
Great.
Okay.
Great. So welcome, really, really warm welcome to this morning. So yeah, come on in. So lots of people are joining us now via Zoom. So yeah, really, really nice to see you all streaming in. So welcome back to the London Buddhist Centre. Yeah, we've got some time this morning to continue our exploration and of the meditation practice, and we're going to have a meditation workshop this morning. So yeah, come on in and we'll start in a few minutes. So yeah, do say hello in the chat. Hi Mark, nice to see you. Yeah, you can say hello, your name and where you are. Really, really nice to see yeah, lots of familiar faces and some new faces as well. So yeah, my name is Garavavati, and we're going to be together in this sort of format until 11 o'clock, and we'll meditate together. I'll say a bit about meditation, and then we'll have breakout groups again. So an opportunity to share your experience in a smaller group, and we'll do that in our sort of local sanghas. And if you're not near a local sangha, you can stay with us at the London Buddhist Centre, and I'll say a bit more about that when we get to it. So yeah, really, really nice to see you all saying hello. Hi, Julie. Nice that you're clarifying where you're living. That's in Essex. Lovely. Yeah, nice to see you, Julie. So yeah, Julie and I were in a group on the last retreat, weren't we, Julie? So it's really, really nice to see you back on this retreat as well. So yeah, more people are joining us. So yeah, keep coming in, make yourselves comfortable. Hi, Josephine from Cambridge. And Kieran, really nice to see you again this morning. So Kieran was in the morning beginner's meditation this morning. So I've seen Kieran already today. Oh, and Laurie's here. Hi, Laurie. Lovely to have Laurie from Paris. So Laurie used to be around the London Buddhist Centre. So really, really nice to have you joining in. And Atulia Mitra's here. Lovely to have Atulia Mitra. So Atulia Mitra and I, we got ordained together a few years ago. So very, very nice to see Atulia Mitra here. I'm really, really enjoying this retreat so far. I hope you are too. It's just lovely to gather together and to practice together. I just really, really appreciate practicing with others, and it's really wonderful that at this time we can gather together in large numbers. Even if we can't be together physically, we can still be together through these online platforms. So I just really, really appreciating that. And it's so nice to have to be doing this in conjunction with the other Buddhist centres. So as you'll know by now, we've got people from the Dublin Buddhist Centre, the Brixton Buddhist Centre, the Cambridge Buddhist Centre, and the Sheffield Buddhist Centre. And it's such a delight to have people, yeah, from different sanghas, different communities. So it's really, really, really lovely. So yeah, welcome if you're just joining us now. We got 78. Oh, how many people have we got? Not 78, 167 people so far. So that's really, really, really lovely. And yeah, it's just gone past 10 o'clock. I think I'll make a start. So yeah, just to remind you that I'll say a bit about meditation. I'll probably talk for about 20 minutes or so. And then we'll have about a 40-minute meditation. And then we'll go into breakout groups. And I'll say a bit more about the breakout groups when we get to it. Okay, so in these morning meditation workshops, we're looking at particular ways that we can work in meditation. I mean, it's not just limited to meditation. We're seeing if we can look at our lives, at our experience, at our world in a particular way. And the first few days we were looking at cultivating samadhi, energized calm, seeing if we could start to stabilize the mind and the heart. And there's this lovely Tibetan phrase that says, having gained stability, reveal the mystery. So having gained stability, reveal the mystery. And yesterday, Jnana Vacha was sort of opening up this sort of gateway, this doorway into mystery. And he was describing these pranya, these wisdom reflections and practices. So we can practice looking at our experience in a particular way. And it can offer us a gateway to something rich and beautiful. to a different, a whole other dimension of consciousness, a different way of experiencing ourselves and the world. And this way of being in the world, this state of consciousness, is available to us all the time. But it's our sort of habits and our sort of habit of fixing ourselves, of fixing the world, of trying to cling on to ourselves and establish ourselves in relationship to a sort of fixed, unchanging world that keeps us, that blocks us from this open dimension of being, this vast, rich, beautiful state of mind, state of consciousness that we could be inhabiting all the time. And once we break out into that other dimension of consciousness, that state of mind, it's a bit like going from black and white into full color. Vibrancy, beauty, wonder reveals itself, mystery reveals itself. So we're looking at these marks of conditioned existence to sort of, they're like weak points in our sort of constructions of ourselves and the world. Yesterday, Nana Vacha was looking at dukkha, at suffering. So it's a really radical approach. So rather than trying to manipulate and control the world so that we have as little suffering as possible, we're using that experience of suffering to see what it can tell us about the nature of reality. And in that way, these sort of portholes, they're gateways into liberation, they're gateways to beauty, they're gateways to meaning, and they're gateways to ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction. So there's traditionally 3 of these gateways, and I'm going to explore the second one today. So I'm going to look at nitya, impermanence. So we know on an intellectual level, and sometimes we know on an experiential level and on an emotional level, that things don't last. For better or for worse, from our point of view, things change. That we can't quite grab hold of our experience, sometimes in the way that we want to, that everything's changing. So we know that on a sort of intellectual level, but quite often we want to hold on to experience. We want experience to last. We don't want things to change. But turning our minds towards change, sort of welcoming change, looking deeply into the nature of change, is another gateway. It's another gateway to freedom. It's a gateway to reality. So what we're going to look at this morning is turning our minds towards that truth, that gateway of impermanence. So I was thinking of an experience I had of this when I was on holiday in Greece. And it was the evening. I had a really, really, really lovely day. I was with my friend, and we were walking back to our hotel, and I looked up to the sky, and it was full of stars. And it was just a moment of beauty and expansiveness. And then across the sky was a really amazing, quite slow shooting star. And it felt like a sort of peak moment of beauty. And for a moment, I was sort of transported into something which felt a bit beyond myself, something wonderful and mysterious. It was really, really, really beautiful. And then literally probably about a second later, I just had this feeling of, again, I just want to see that shooting star again. And then what happened was I probably spent the next hour looking for more shooting stars. And I was like, as we were walking, I was like, come on, let's both look. And then let's try and see another one. So I was just like looking. And then we were lying out on the sort of, on a place where we could lie down, trying to look for more shooting stars. we didn't see another shooting star. And even if we had, it wouldn't have been the same as that experience. And and basically, I think I sort of ruined the evening actually with my sort of wanting this another experience. I wanted that experience of expansiveness, of beauty. And it's not wrong, it's not bad. Of course, we want to feel, we want to be in touch with wonder and beauty and mystery. It's not bad. But what I didn't quite realize at the time was that my wanting and my grasping after that was getting in the way of just letting that experience permeate my being, of letting myself be really, really touched by the beauty and the wonder of it. And also seeing that what made that experience so beautiful and mysterious was that it was fleeting, was that actually it was just, it was so transient. It was this transient moment of beauty. And actually that's what made it so special. It was rare. It was, it was fleeting. It was, it was really impermanent. It probably lasted a split second. If you've seen a shooting star before, it's really like a split second. And in a way, that's what made it beautiful. If shooting stars lasted forever, if they were happening all the time, I wouldn't be, it wouldn't have such a big impact on me. I wouldn't really probably notice them that much if they happened all the time, every evening, if we saw them all the time. It's the fact that it was so impermanent that made it beautiful. And, with a shooting star, it's, what can I say? It doesn't feel sort of tragic in a way that it's impermanent, but with other things which feel more important to us, that we're more attached to, more identified with, the impermanence of them can feel devastating. So something which is beautiful, like a friendship or a lover, or I don't know, any type of relationship actually that we're deeply that we really value. When it ends, when someone dies, the ending of that can feel tragic. It can feel devastating. It's natural that we want to try to control and manipulate and try to make these things last. It's very, very, very natural, but it causes us a lot of suffering. It causes us a lot of pain, and it blocks us from realizing the true nature of our experience. So it doesn't only cause suffering, it blocks wisdom. It blocks us aligning ourselves with reality, with how things really are. It sort of obstructs us. It puts like a big sort of door down through this gateway, which we could step through. If we could start to turn our minds towards impermanence, see what it can teach us about our experience, see what it can teach us about the nature of reality, then we can step through this gateway into something rich and beautiful. So trying to hold on to things is futile, it's painful, and it blocks wisdom. And we want to fix things, we want to label things, we want to pin things down because they help us to have a stronger sense of ourselves and have a stronger sense of the world. It's just human nature. It's sort of like an inbuilt mechanism into having a human mind and a human heart, that we feel ourselves as fixed and separate entities moving around in a fixed and separate world. So through these meditation practices, what we're trying to do is see that we're not fixed and separate, that the world isn't fixed and separate. Actually, we're deeply, deeply connected and we're part of life, and that we can shape that life. We can have a sense of responsibility in how life unfolds, and we can participate fully and deeply in life as well. That we don't have to protect ourselves. We don't have to defend ourselves, because ultimately there's nothing to defend. There's nothing to protect. And so through that, we can start to let go of this self-clinging, and we can start to let go into something which is rich and beautiful and true and deeply connected. And this state of mind, this consciousness which is open, which is unbounded, reveals itself, fills us, that there's no sense of separation. So impermanence doesn't have to be this terrible thing. It doesn't have to be terrifying. Even death doesn't have to be terrifying. It can be a thing of beauty. And it's just this gateway. When we look through this lens of impermanence, what we open up to is the signless. So we open up to a world which is beyond labels, which is even beyond concepts and ideas. So we can do this in meditation. How we can approach this through meditation. We can obviously look for impermanence in the world all the time, which I'd really recommend you to do. Look at nature. Look how nature's constantly sort of changing. It's not just endings, it's also beginnings and renewal. So look how things are constantly coming into being, unfolding and moving out of being, coming into being, unfolding and ceasing. There's just a constant cycle of change. So in meditation, one of the ways we can try to use the meditation practice to turn our minds towards impermanence and see through this habit of fixing ourselves is to try and get a bit closer to the changing sensations in a direct experience. So in the meditation practice that we're going to do in a little bit, I'm going to lead us through feeling into the body, feeling the direct sensations of the body, and also feeling the breath. So when we feel the breath, we'll notice that the breath's constantly changing. It moves in, it moves out. And the breath's also constantly changing your body. You breathe in. I'm not really a scientist. I don't know all the details, but some kind of osmosis happens, doesn't it? The lungs fill, air becomes breath. The breath enters your body. In a way, the breath becomes part of you. And then the breath leaves the body. There's an exchange of gases. The breath leaves the body and then it becomes part of the world. So at what point does sort of you end and the world begin? Where is that boundary? Once we start to let go of the labels, once we start to just bring our attention to this thing that we call breath, we start to see that actually this thing that we call breath is actually just a constant changing flow of sensations. And then if we bring that to the body, we see that the body, actually this thing that we call ourselves, this thing that we call our body, is also just a constant changing flow of sensation. And it's through seeing if we can keep turning our minds towards that state of constant change, that feeling, the felt direct experience of constant change, dropping the labels, dropping the stories, that we can start to enter through this gateway into the signless, into something which is beyond labels, beyond concepts, beyond separation, which is rich and beautiful and inherently meaningful. And it's really, really simple, but hard to practice it, but it is really, really simple. All we're doing is seeing if we can stay with this constant change. So the only thing that's constant is change. And we're seeing if we can keep turning our minds towards that. Reality is always trying to reveal itself to us all the time. When we try to look for impermanence, we'll see it everywhere. And when we try to look at it as a gateway to something rich and beautiful, something which is beyond fear, we'll see that it's everywhere. And when things end, when things don't go our way, rather than thinking, oh, bother, or something stronger, we can start to turn towards it and think, oh yes, like this is how things are. And we can start to see it as an opportunity to go beyond fixing ourselves and fixing the world, which is inherently painful. So it's not a stoicism. It's not saying, oh, yes, like if we feel pain in our body when we're meditating, or if we feel pain in our lives when something difficult happens, it's not a stoic mantra of, oh, yes, all things are impermanent. A bit like all things are impermanent, by 11 o'clock, the meditation will be over and I won't be feeling my sore back anymore, or I won't be having to be in relationship with this restlessness, or at 11:30, then I can go for a walk. Or it's not about a stoic, all things are impermanent. It's actually seeing that, yes, all things are changing, and what can that teach us about the nature of our experience? So we're trying to see if we can get closer, go more deeply into that truth of impermanence, that truth of change. And yes, see it as a gateway. I really, really love this image of gateway. So rather than trying to push it away, we're seeing if we can lean into it and lean into the sort of direct physical experience of it. So it's quite good in meditation, because quite often we will label our experience as like a good meditation or a bad meditation, as a sensation as pleasant or painful, or a thought as pleasant or painful, an emotion as good or bad, pleasant or painful. So what I'd really encourage you to do in this practice is to see if you can let go of the stories and drop down into the direct experience. So if you're feeling pain in your body, can you turn towards the pain, drop the label that it's painful, and notice the sensations? And what you'll notice is that there's a constant sort of throbbing, there's a sort of flickering of experience. There might be I don't know, there might be heat, there might be coolness. See if you can feel how that experience of what you're calling pain, or my achy shoulders, or my achy back, or whatever it is, see if you can start to really feel the direct experience of it. I just wanted to say one more thing, but my mind's just gone blank. So we're seeing if we can feel the direct experience of the pain, and see that it's constantly changing, and notice how you'll want to fix it, you'll want to label it, but we're trying to get beyond the labels, and the changingness of it is the way to get beyond the label. So you can't just drop the label, but if you try to get a bit closer to it, try to see that it's changing, the label will just drop on its own, because you'll see that this thing that you're calling pain is just changing sensation. I say is just changing sensation, it is changing sensation. I just end with this. I had an experience of this for myself, where I had quite chronic lower back pain for quite a long time. And it used to just become really, really loud, and it would come right to the front of my experience when I started meditating. And I tried to apply this in meditation, of rather than making stories about what the pain in my back was, and worrying that I was going to have this all my life, and was I going to be able to walk, and I just tried to feel the changing sensations and get really, really close to the experience of the back pain. And it was so interesting, because what I'd normally label as painful almost actually became pleasurable. It was so interesting. As I stayed with the changing sensations, what I felt actually was just a lot of energy, all this sort of tingling. And actually, I felt a lot of aliveness in the back. And I would notice that it would fluctuate from painful to pleasurable to neutral to painful to pleasurable. And this thing that I'd always felt as a problem actually suddenly became really, really interesting. It helped me to deepen my experience of the meditation practice, and it did help me to go beyond that label of what pain was. So I think we can use whatever comes up in the meditation practice to deepen our experience. Okay, so let's have a go at doing that. Let's sit to meditate. Make yourselves comfortable. It's really, really important to make yourselves as comfortable as possible. Good. Okay, so just settling down, I'm going to lead us through quite a long awareness of the body. We're seeing if we can really ground these principles in the direct experience, and that will be through our bodies. So let's start by just settling. You can let the weight of your body release down towards the ground. Having a sense of your feet or your legs releasing down. And allowing your sitting bones to drop down to the cushions or the chair. So bringing the attention down into the base of the posture, can you contact a feeling of stability from the ground? From that base of stability, the spine can rise up and out of the pelvis. You don't need to pull your body up, just let the natural curves of your spine support your posture. Your lower back can be soft and open. And the head can just balance on the top of the spine. Your neck free. And as you breathe in, just imagine that the inhale could just soften the belly and the chest, and you can just feel the natural rise and opening of the belly and chest on the inhale. And as you breathe out, you could imagine your shoulders releasing down your back a little more. And let your face soften all the muscles around your eyes, your cheeks soft, and release your jaw. And there's no need to talk now, so the mouth, the tongue, the throat can soften. And now bring your attention down into your hands. And see if you can come a bit more deeply into the hands. And just notice the sensations in the hands. And can you stay with the changing sensations there? And rather than labeling the sensations, see if you can feel them directly. And now start to broaden out through the whole of your body, having a sense of the whole body. And just look for anywhere in your body which feels a bit tight or tense, or maybe there's pain in the body. Just take your attention to that point. And again, see if you can just feel into it. You could touch into it with your breath. Can you feel the changing temperature? Can you stay with the changing sensations there? Not forcing or struggling against it, but relaxing into it. And if you can stay with the changingness of it, the stories, the labels might drop away. And now bringing your attention down into your belly and feeling the breath down in the belly. And the breath can be rich and beautiful. Can you stay with the changing sensations of the breath? And we'll have a period of just over 10 minutes of meditation like this on the breath with the body. Seeing if we can feel the changing nature of the breath. Turning our minds towards this great truth of change. And now, for the last 10 minutes of the practice, we can let go of our efforts, let go of our ideas of meditation, and just sit. See what happens. Don't try to do anything. And don't try not to do anything. Just sitting. The turquoise flower is killed by frost. This is an example of change. This is an example of change. It is in the nature of transitoriness. Ponder upon this truth. Ponder upon this truth. Okay. Good. So in a moment, we can go into breakout groups, and I'll say something about that in a moment. Tomorrow in this session, Surya Gupta will be taking us through the next sort of gateway. So that will be happening tomorrow. And of course, throughout the rest of the day, there's lots of activities. We've got Qigong here at 12 o'clock, and then there's local activities happening in the local centres, and there's yoga at 5:15, and then this evening at 7 o'clock, there's the next instalment of the life of Milarepa, the Tibetan yogi. So yeah, it's a really, really full, rich day. So hopefully I'll see you later on in the day or tomorrow. And yeah, so just now we can go into breakout groups. So we're doing breakout groups through the sanghas, through the communities. So Guillem's going to post the link to the breakout groups. And if you're in the Dublin Sangha, or the Sheffield Sangha, the Cambridge Sangha, or the Brixton Sangha, then click that link now. It's really, really important that you click the link now, because then it gives these guys here time to create the breakout groups for the London Sangha. So if you're part of the London Buddhist Centre Sangha, or if you're if you're further afield, then you can just stay with us at the London Buddhist Centre. And in the breakout groups, yeah, you've got a chance to talk about your experience, to talk about your experience of the retreat, your meditation practice. Yeah, so for London, you can stay here and you'll be assigned to breakout groups probably in about, what do you think, Guillaume? 4 minutes. Guillaume's giving me this sign. So if you're in the London Sangha, or you're not part of the other Sanghas, stay here, and in about 4 minutes, you'll be joining there. Oh, Clemence, nice to see you, Clemence. Yeah, and if you're part of the other Sangha, so that's Brixton, Dublin, Sheffield, or Cambridge, then you can click on the link that Guillem's posted. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's really good to do that now, so that you'll join the right group. It's really, really nice to connect with people who are in your area, because hopefully it won't be too long when we can reopen the doors of our Buddhist centres, and then when you go back to that Buddhist centre, you'll know people, you'll be able to deepen the connections which are already happening. So we really want people to do their breakout groups in their local areas, so that you can start to build connections with those people in your local areas. So yeah, if you're in London, or from not from one of those other sanghas, if you're from further afield, then just stay here, and Guillem's going to put you into breakout groups in about 3 minutes or 2 minutes, actually 2 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, if you just sit tight. Oh, thank you, Badri. Nice to have Badri back. Badri was on the last retreat as well. It's really, really nice to see people from the last retreat that we did, and lovely to see new faces as well. So we'll just wait for a few more moments. So we're just giving people time to join the other groups, and then Guillem will assign you to your breakout group. Thanks, Steve. Nice to see you as well, Steve. And Sophie. Oh, good. Yeah, that's great, Julie. I'm glad you're getting a lot from the meditations as well. Okay, so yeah, you should have the invite now, so you can just press on the join and you'll zoom through to your group. So yeah, see you later. Enjoy. Yeah, so if you're still here and you haven't yet joined a group, you'll be assigned to a group. Guillaume will just be doing that. So it should pop up and you can just press join and then you'll join your breakout group. Great. Okay.